Hello, football fans. The home stretch of the 2018 NFL season is dwindling, and there is a lot to get to. First off, some clinchings. The Chargers, in epic comeback fashion, clinched a playoff spot with a comeback win against the Chiefs, 29-28. It was a crazy Thursday game, the last Thursday game of the regular season. Um, uh, They were down by 14 real late, but they managed to bounce back. They cut it in half, stopped Mahomes and company, and then got the end zone with 4 seconds left. And they were down one, but they decided to go all in and go for two, and Mike Williams was wide open with the two-point conversion. The Chargers only led for 4 seconds, but they were the 4 seconds that counted. As a result, LA is in the playoffs. Well, the other LA is in the playoffs. For the first time since 1985, both Los Angeles NFL teams are in the playoffs. Of course, in '85, it was the Rams and the LA Raiders that made it. And the LA Rams got as far as the NFC Championship game, where they lost to the eventual Super Bowl 20 champ. Where they lost to the eventual Super Bowl 20 champions, the Chicago Bears. Speaking of the Bears, the Bears beat the Packers 24-17, and it was a double celebration in Chicago. Not only did the Bears clinch the NFC North, but the Packers' season ended. The Packers were eliminated in Chicago, and what can I say except for the Packers? It was the end of a dying season that was caused by people around Rodgers just failing, and a bad coach who we got rid of 2 weeks ago. Thank goodness for that. And I will say this: congratulations to the Bears, who still suck, but won a division. I'm just glad it wasn't Minnesota. But speaking of Minnesota, their first game with a new OC, they won big, 41 to was it 17, but all of that pales in comparison to what happened in Pittsburgh. We all saw it. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the New England Patriots 17-10. There was a game that New England never led. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. Tom Brady got stopped in his latest attempt to tie the game. The offense for New England just stalled, and Pittsburgh held on and won. And now optimism in Steel City has rose to an exponential level. I'm telling you, they're scheduling the parade. I just know it. I just know they are. And the Rams, I mentioned the Rams earlier, the Rams got stymied by the return of Saint Nick himself, Nick Foles, the man who took down the Patriots in Super Bowl 52, went to LA and beat the Rams. And this was good for the Saints, because the Saints got a half-game lead entering Monday, and Week 15 ended with a big 12-9 road victory over the the Panthers. So they have a commanding lead. They have a commanding lead in the race for the top seed in the NFC. And as for Carolina, well, they better get their fishing boats ready, because the playoffs are a long shot. So to recap, who clinched? Chicago clinched, but they were the only NFC team to clinch. So there's three playoff spots left in the NFC. Seattle failed to clinch again thanks to Russell Wilson's incompetence. They somehow lost to San Francisco in overtime. So there's 3 spots left in the NFC. Many heads rolled, including ours. The Giants were officially eliminated, so were Atlanta and Detroit. No playoffs for them. Dallas failed to clinch the NFC East because they got shut out. Even worse, Washington and Philly both won. So they still have the remaining 2 weeks to get it done. In the AFC, the only 2 spots that are clinched are both the AFC West, Kansas City and the Chargers. But now, Kansas City still controls their own destiny, but now there's a lot to decipher as far as the AFC West is concerned. Cleveland got a big win in Denver, so they're still alive, but their Southern Ohio counterparts are not. The Bengals got eliminated when the Colts won, and the Colts won over. They were the ones who shut out Dallas, and Tennessee won, so they're still alive. And even though Houston beat the Jets, they have not officially clinched yet. So there's still a lot to decide. But anyway, Week 16 starts this Saturday. That's right. No more Thursday games. Week 16 starts this Saturday, and there's a lot to decide as far as playoff clinches are concerned. And here we go. Let's start the AFC. The AFC, well, Kansas City has a simple. Kansas City's first scenario is simple: win the division. If they win, the Chargers lose at home against Baltimore. Kansas City wins the West. They can get home and they get a bye. They can get home field throughout if Kansas City wins. Kansas City wins, the Chargers lose, and Houston loses a tie. Or if Kansas City wins, the Chargers lose, and Kansas City straight clinches that straight to victory tiebreaker. Straight to victory is what is on that long list of NFL tiebreakers. It's way down there. Straight to victory, straight to schedule, they're way down the list. That requires a lot of That requires a certain number of Kansas City's opponents to win this week. And Reddit.com actually has a list of them. I'm not going to go for it because it's too much of a headache. So I'll just leave it at that. Houston still has not clinched a playoff spot, but they can clinch a playoff spot regardless of regardless of the outcome of their game against Philly. Houston gets in with a Baltimore loss or tie, or Pittsburgh loss, which is likely. They're in New Orleans. Or Tennessee loss or tie, and Houston clinching straight to victory over Baltimore. Again, we're not going to get into that part. Houston will win the division. Houston will win the division with just a win, or if Indianapolis and Tennessee both lose or tie. And for a first round bye, if they win and New England loses or ties, they get the bye. That would mean that the Patriots will play the wild card round for the first time since 2009. Speaking of the Patriots, Patriots still have not clinched a playoff spot. So much as a playoff spot yet. But they can win the division, of course. All they have to do is win. Or Miami can lose a tie. Simple as that. Pittsburgh, thanks to that big win against New England, Pittsburgh can clinch a playoff spot this week. If they win, Indy loses, and Tennessee loses, Pittsburgh is in. If they win and Baltimore loses, Pittsburgh wins the AFC North. So that's pretty much how it goes. And keep in mind, I'm giving you these scenarios without these certain teams tying. But of course, ties are possible. There have been two this season, and Pittsburgh has tied this year. Okay, now in the NFC, again, Dallas has the same scenario. Dallas has the same scenario as far as clinching that they had last week. But they could also get in the playoff. They also get in the playoffs even if they don't win. If they tie and Minnesota loses during the playoffs. As far as win division, all they have to do is win. If they tie, Washington, Philly cannot win. If Washington and Philly both lose, Dallas can win the division regardless of their outcome. Dallas hosts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Vikings can get in the playoffs. Well, actually, I'll get to that later. New Orleans, because of that win, they really control their own destiny. All New Orleans has to do to get a first round bye is tie, or the Rams can lose, or the Bears can lose or tie. If they win, they get everything. Home field. The road to the NFC will go through them. The Rams can still clinch a first round bye. They have to win, and the Bears have to lose because the Bears can have it. They end up tied. If they end up tied the same record, then the Bears get it because they beat them a couple weeks ago. Seattle can get in, but they'll need help. See, they controlled their own destiny last week. They don't have that option this week. We have Russell Wilson to think. They have Russell Wilson to think for that. If they have to win and Washington has to lose or tie, or if they win or tie and Minnesota loses, they're in. And there's again strength of victory. In other words, again, we won't get to that. As I said before, Minnesota can get in the playoffs. That's right. The Vikings can get in. If they win, Washington loses, if Philadelphia loses or ties, Minnesota is in. So the last three playoff spots can all be clinched this week. Minnesota has the Lions, so that's a given win for Minnesota. Washington starts Week 16 on the road against Tennessee, and Philly plays Houston. So yeah, those are these scenarios. You'll find them on various websites such as NFL.com, CBSSports.com, or among any others. But those are scenarios, and it's hard to believe there are 2 weeks left in this great season. It has been an insane season, and I can't wait to see the results of this. So remember, so it all starts. Week 16 starts Saturday with a pair of games in Tennessee and in LA, well, Carson, California. Um, and there's the Sunday night game. The Sunday night game is Kansas City and Seattle. Pittsburgh and the Saints face each other at on CBS. That's going to be pretty much nationally televised. The last Monday night game of the season is irrelevant. It's Broncos and Oakland. So yeah, so it's gonna be a crazy final 2 weeks. And all I have to say is fasten your proverbial seatbelts, enjoy this ride, and in addition to that, have a wonderful Christmas.